All right, you're looking live at Generation and Generation Cowboys and Sports Talks. I'm the host, Mr. I Tell You What, DJ I Tell You What, and I have my co-host, my dad, Cowboy Joe64, aka Capricorn One.
Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
And we are back with another one. You want to say what's up to the people?
What's up, people?
All right. So, what you want to talk about today? So, it's never a dull moment in Cowboys Nation. Let me do your "I am your father" drop. Hold on.
I am your father.
I like that. All right. So, what you want to talk about today? It's never a dull moment in Cowboy Nation.
So we got the Houston Texans coming into town. Man, we got another night game. This time it's on a Monday. That makes the Sundays long and then Mondays long. So, but at this point, yeah.
And then how we playing too, man. That makes it extra long. And we already talking about next season, so it's really, really gonna be long. And then man. So you think they're gonna start flexing us out of some of these games?
I mean, it's a possibility, but people still just want to see Dallas, even if it's a train wreck. So they might keep them in there. I mean, Cowboys gonna draw the fans, whether they winning or not. So that part,
Yeah, and I was thinking about that too. I was like, all them years that Detroit was sorry, we still had to watch them on Thanksgiving.
Oh well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
They the team that's always played, and they play really strange. They lose a lot of their games too.
Yeah, they do, but they also have been bad, just like we have. Now they're better, but
they lost their Thanksgiving game last year.
They did. So, but when they really counted, that really didn't amount to nothing. Who they play, the Vikings or Green Bay?
I think they played the Packers, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, right now, if I had to pick a team, they the best team. They better than Kansas City. Kansas City, they really just on borrowed time. They've been kind of putting a lot of bad games out there. They should allow Sunday. I don't know how the Broncos got that kick blocked. That was crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. But my saying and my thought process, they can be better. But the question is Ben Johnson gonna be able to get past Spagnuolo? I don't think he can.
What, in the Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think Spagnuolo is a great coordinator, but I mean, all of these games is a way to win them. So I just think Detroit, it just kind of looks like it's their year. So we have to see. I'm not even saying Kansas City's gonna make it. If I had to pick right now, I'm picking Detroit and Baltimore. I am.
Oh, we know. If it's Detroit and Baltimore, Detroit gonna win that. That ain't even. I don't even think that's a close game. I don't think that Baltimore got nothing for Detroit. I mean, personally, but we'll see. So, what's been in the news lately? Oh yeah, they got Sungate going on. That's what's going on right now. We had some more players come out today and complain about the Sun. Some more starters. Jalen Tolbert.
What do you say?
That most of the time he see the sun more than the ball.
And who else?
Well, that was all that I seen. I just know that all the reporters are asking about it and talking about it.
Well, Jalen Tolbert ain't got a contract, so he got to watch what he's saying. CD can just say whatever. You see Micah. Look, Micah is like on a freight train. The thing about Micah is when these players like Dak, there's just no reason to interview Dak, none whatsoever. It's just you're just wasting time. Because the PR department, they actually coach these guys on how to interview, but they can't coach Micah. So Micah is just living, breathing content. So the more Micah, the better. So Micah made a comment today that I saw, and I was going to talk about it, and losing my train of thought on what he said. But he said something today, or it might have been yesterday. It wasn't the McCarthy replay.
Mm.
He said something else that caught my attention. I was like, I mean, he's spitting facts.
I'm gonna see what he said today.
It'll come to me in a minute.
So speaking on that, Micah is like you said, he's a freight train. He say what he want to say, and he does what he wants to do. And you remember that he had some questionable behavior issues coming out of Penn State, but he's been an angel. So they haven't seen nothing yet. Micah is I call it Micah is Micah. Micah is Micah-ing, because that's what he does. He is the president of Bleacher Report Gridiron. So he is media. That's what he is. He's the president over he's the president over the NFL largest media brand. So what do they expect him to be quiet? So you have these players that's going to try to follow in his footsteps, and he's bringing them along. He's bringing Slay along. He's bringing, like Debo and them. I watched Debo podcast today. Debo was talking about the Bengals and how they doing Jamar Chase. It's really, if we had to, as fans, if we had to pick someone in the football arena to follow and to hear what they really think, it would obviously be the players. It wouldn't be nobody else. So I think it's a wonderful thing that we get to see that they're humanizing themselves, and that we get to see what they really think. It's just like when Travis Hunter and Shador come online, they gonna have their own podcast. They already do. And so it's just like Colin Simmons. Shout out to Colin. It's just like Colin. By the time Colin get in the NFL, he gonna have his own podcast. That's the way it goes. That's the new NFL. So teams can get mad and fans can get mad all they want, but this is just something that's happening. You gotta move with the times. This is the information age, and it's happening. Let me see what he said today.
So while you're talking about that, so I did see that Brandon Cooks, they say he might be coming back, getting ready to play. I think we got the final on Dak. It was kind of weird because there was different reports on Dak having a season-ending surgery. Then some people said he was still getting opinions. So I think I saw today he's going to have it.
No, I think he had it today.
He had it today? Okay.
Yeah. And I got something to say about Brandon Cooks too. See, Brandon Cooks told Chill 2 weeks ago, shout out to Chill. So Chill was like 2 weeks ago, he asked Brandon Cooks, like, man, you ready? You ready? So if for you all that don't know, this is what happened to Brandon Cooks. So Brandon Cooks was getting injections on his knee from a doctor in New York, supposedly. And the knee, the needle or whatever they were using to give him these injections in his knees were infected, or it caused an infection in his knee. So once it caused an infection in his knee, they decided to go to get a scope done and to get all of the infection out, and so his knee can heal. Well, getting a scope done on your knee after an infection, that's like a 2 or 3 day type of deal. It doesn't require you to miss any time. So the time that he missed was designated by the coaches and the staff. So Chill was like, are you ready to go? And Brandon Cooks said 2-3 weeks ago he was ready to play. He didn't understand why he wasn't playing. And so you can look at his Instagram and his Twitter, and you can see the cryptic messages that Brandon Cook has been tweeting for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So that ought to tell you right there that he been ready to play for like 3 weeks, and they just been sitting him, sidelining him for God knows why.
What? So they can play Jalen Brooks?
Apparently, I guess so. Jalen Brooks and Flournoy, I guess.
They ain't playing Flournoy.
Yep. So again, something that just doesn't make any sense. We just can't figure these stuff out. So it looks like Michael said he was just going to eat the fine and skip mandatory media sessions post Mike McCarthy today.
Yeah, that's not what I was talking about. He said something else that caught my attention, but that's interesting. I think he's just trying to, you know, he's not happy with the way his little quote was handled. So that's fine. I mean, he'll trust me. He'll be back, and he's not skipping anything. He's gonna be on his show. He's gonna be, doing his normal routine. So
I, I
we'll
like
get
I
plenty
like
of
how
quotes.
I like how Micah fired shots at Rex Ryan. I like that.
Yeah. So yeah, Micah he's gonna be somebody that you always gotta listen to, always gotta watch. Jerry loves it, I'm sure. He's loving it. So yeah, Micah's gonna be able to do his thing. Look, Micah, CD, and Dak, they could really start throwing their weight around with their contracts, and Micah is gonna get his. Micah will be the highest paid defensive player in the history of the league. It's just a matter of when they do it. Do they do it ahead of time where they can free up cap space, or do they do it at the end of August before camp starts? And I mean, before for regular season starts, and he'll come in and won't be in football shape and all that. That's normally what they do. But he's gonna get his money, so he's free to give his opinion and I think the comment he made, it was something about the kind of coach they need to hire. I'm going to find it. I thought it was interesting what he said.
Let me Google.
It was something about the next coach or what
Okay.
type of coach they need. He said something about we need more superstar players on defense and something else.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's
So
like
yeah, I just
Micah.
seen
The
that.
other thing
So
that
he
Micah's gonna
tweeted
do.
that. Hmm.
What did it say?
Defense wins championships. Build this defense while we got young superstars. We will win more games holding teams to 20 or less points than offensive shootouts, and that's facts.
That's what it was, and I'm gonna push back on Micah. What you need to do is you need to build a football team. What the Cowboys have done over the years, they'll just say, "Oh, we're gonna stock up this position," and they don't look at other positions. So what I would say is just build a overall team offensively and defensively. But what I was gonna say was what Micah's gonna do. Micah around draft time, Micah is very entertaining. He will sit up like when they drafted Tyler Guyton. Micah's reaction was priceless. So
Yep.
what they got to look at this coaching search, this draft is coming up. Micah's gonna be all over that, just looking at who they should and shouldn't draft, and he's gonna be giving his opinion. So it's gonna be a lot of fun as we get into this off season and this draft because Micah is gonna be throwing his weight around with that.
Yeah, yeah, he is, and then it's gonna be interesting to see because Jerry gonna love it, and Jerry gonna listen to Michael, and so, that's gonna
Steven
be
won't.
great. Yeah, Steven won't, but we all know how that goes. Steven thinks I don't even want to. Steven is he not gonna listen, but Jerry
Well,
will.
so yeah, Micah, he came back Sunday and played really good. So look, Micah, people that want to get a high draft pick, Micah's gonna be out there playing. He's not gonna go out there and just phone it in. He's got 7 games to pad his stats, so probably gonna see some good games. I want to see him
Oh
play
yeah,
off linebacker more.
and he wants to play off linebacker more, and he let that be known the other day
Yeah, they need to
because
move him
Overshawn
around.
is showing out. Overshawn is showing out. Um,
Oh,
man,
Overshawn. Look, if the Cowboys were not 3-6 or whatever they are, Overshawn will probably be a Pro Bowler this year. He might not
mhm.
get it because they're losing, but
Yeah,
they've been on national TV so many times, and when they've been on, he's
that's all
played great.
everybody talking about.
Yeah, so I mean, look, he'll be. I think he'll be second team. And what happens is a lot of those guys that make it, if they're playing in playoff games, they won't even go to the game. So he'll. Well, it's not even a game now. They go and do what are they doing now? Like
Drills
yeah,
and that kind of stuff. but but you know,
I don't know
man,
about All Pro now. All Pro,
nah, I don't know if he would be all pro. Not this year. He wouldn't be all pro this year because they're losing. And then I don't know if you can all pro means that you are the best at that position in the NFL. So I don't know if he's played enough and they've gotten
so I
enough.
think it's gonna be
Um,
4 linebackers. So I think it's 4.
mhm, yeah, no, it might be six.
So it'll be Fred.
No, it
Is it
might be
6?
four,
So it'll be
maybe
Fred
four.
Roberts, Roquan Smith, and Bobby Wagner is gonna make it.
You
So
think so?
we'll see, but yeah, he's definitely getting. Yeah, he is. I mean, he respected wherever he goes. It's not gonna matter. So he'll make it. That's just how it goes. And so I'll be shocked if he don't. And the couple of
Let me.
games that I've watched, he looked just
Mhm.
like Bobby Wagner. He ain't slowing down.
Why? I want to ask you this.
No, go ahead.
Why do you think Jerry is into? Well, I won't even say Jerry. Why do you think the Cowboys front office is into helping other teams and like they give up premium draft picks to other teams for like players that they're going to cut. They like uh draft and develop players. Aisha made a good point today. Shout out to Aisha. They draft and develop players, and then right when the player reaches their peak, they let the player go to another team. And then they sign underperforming players after injury. And then like their coaches always leave here. The players always leave here and go win championships. The coaches leave here and go win championships. Why does that keep happening? And why does that happen over a 28-year span? Why is that happening? And is there anything to that, or is that just bad luck?
It's a little bit of both. What you find with them is there really is no, you know, design on what they do. They just make questionable decisions. I mean, when you draft Jalen Smith and give him a new contract, okay, when you contracts, they was talking to Golston, Aisha, and the show was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think just me myself. I'm not a Chauncey Golston guy. I think that he's gonna always just be a kind of a jack of all trades guy. But they've let other players, absolutely, they've let other players go, and they move on to do better things. So I think it's just something that's they do. They just at the end of the day, they just don't do a good job of evaluating guys
Like,
to sign and keep. They let
yeah,
some guys go. A lot of those guys that went to the Commanders, they could have kept them for pennies on a dollar, but they didn't even try.
right. That's what I'm
Like
asking. It's just
what's
like
the edge for Washington is playing
Dorrance
real good
Armstrong.
now. Yeah, keep in mind, no, it's the other guy, not Dorrance Armstrong. So when Dorrance Armstrong was
Shit.
here, this guy I'm
Uh
talking about, he was always behind Dorrance Armstrong,
huh.
and somebody in the front office, like Jerry, really liked Dorrance Armstrong. So the other player behind him, he wasn't really getting snaps. Matter of fact, there were games last year, the player that we're talking about,
Uh
they would
huh.
let LVE and what's the other linebacker? Clark. They was putting them at edge over this player we're talking about. The name escapes me, but he had 7 sacks. So who are we talking about? He came in with Dan Quinn. He was Dan Quinn's guy.
Oh, I know who
He
you talking
played
about.
here. And whenever he played really good, but they didn't never let him play. So for
I
some
know who you
reason now
talking
he's
about.
playing in Washington when Dan Quinn wouldn't give him a lot of rep.
So let's
Yeah,
see. You
so
have
Jerry
Dorrance
Jones really like Dorrance
Armstrong,
Armstrong. So
Sheldon Day, Javante, Jean Baptiste, uh, Dante
no,
Fowler.
he's
That's
an
who you talking about.
edge. He played here for a couple. It's Dante Fowler.
Yeah,
For some
yeah, Dante
reason,
Fowler.
when he was here in Dallas, they wouldn't give him snaps. They would
Mm-hmm.
let him play every now and then. He
Mm-hmm.
goes to Washington. Now he has 7 sacks.
I'll tell you another name that's going to be there next year. Chauncey Golston. Chauncey Golston going to go to Washington next year.
So your screen is freezing up a little bit. So
yeah, you breaking up. Did you hear what I said about Chauncey Golston going to Washington next year? Yeah, he gonna go to Washington.
Well, Donovan Wilson probably will as well. It's gonna be you gonna see that. But Donovan Wilson, he's not having a good season. So, but Chauncey Golston, a lot of people like his game. He just doesn't he doesn't jump off the screen to me. I watch a game, and we had a game last week and the week before when the game was over. They talked about how great he played.
Mm-hmm.
Just watching the game, I just didn't see it.
Well, yeah, me neither. I can't even tell you what number Chauncey Golston is. So
I think he's 99.
Yeah, you're right. He is 99. So another thing, it's just like this is now I'm not a you're a don't let players. I'm transitioning to don't let coaches pick players unless coaches are like Jimmy or like. Yeah, it's really rare unless a coach like Ben Johnson says, I want Cam or I want Shador, then that's when you would do it. But
a lot of them teams Jamie had, Jeff Ireland was the guy picking a lot of the players.
Okay, so Jeff Ireland. So you really, because I don't want Will McClay picking players, I don't want Steven picking players, and I don't want Jerry picking players. So I don't know. I'm at wit's ends with who I want picking players. So what I'm saying is. A reason why one of the big reasons why you don't want coaches picking players is because when that coach leaves, that player doesn't fit the next coach's scheme the way that it fit Dan Quinn. If you notice, yeah, you stuck with him. All Dan Quinn guys that he drafted that were okay when he was here, they're not good now, and they're gonna follow him to
right.
Nashawn Wright. They're going to follow him all the way to Washington. And, I can see it now. What's going to happen is, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Dan Quinn and Washington, they're going to play Green Bay in the first round. They're going to win. They're going to beat Green Bay. And then Philly is going to play somebody else in the first round. They're going to beat them. They're going to play the Falcons or the Vikings. They're going to beat them. And then the Eagles and the Washington Commanders are going to play in the second round of the playoff. So one of them is going to the NFC Championship. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's Washington. And when Washington go to the NFC Championship, Detroit is going to beat them. But I'm just saying, they're going to one of the NFC East teams is going to make it to the NFC Championship this year. I'm going to stamp that. And it's going to be one of the easiest years you could have ever done it. But Jerry and Steven and Will McClay evicted us from this before the season even started. So we need to be bracing ourselves for that, because that's going to happen, I think.
Well, if it does happen, so there were 3 teams in the NFL that had not had an NFC Championship game in 28 years. So it was Detroit, Dallas, and Washington. So if the Commanders make it, we'll be the last man standing. I do want to say that I don't think the Commanders will beat the Packers if they play. I'll be shocked.
Well, I'm looking at Dan
Quinn hasn't done good against that offense.
Well, he know right now that last year he really, really, really got beat down by Green Bay, and I'm guaranteed this whole off season and the whole season he been studying that.
Well, and I will say, if you got players like Bobby Wagner, they got a better defense than we had. So look, they can beat Green Bay. That's if Green Bay make it. So.
Yeah. So also, I had something else I wanted to ask you.
I do think the Packers would be a wild card.
Yeah, and the Vikings. And
keep an eye on the Vikings, man.
Yeah, they a Cinderella's team. They're a Cinderella team. They have a shot to make it.
Well, No, I was saying keep an eye on them kind of falling off because I think they kind of caught a couple of teams off guard. But the quarterback,
Sam.
he's kind of turning into a pumpkin a little bit there. So
Mm,
if he plays well, they gonna have a shot. But uh, they didn't look too good Sunday. Then Tampa, they was you know on the goal line and couldn't get the ball in the end zone. So a lot of people was giving props to their offensive coordinator.
mm-hmm,
They could have easily won that game,
mm-hmm.
but they
So
couldn't get it in.
speaking of coordinators, so who are the 4 or 5 coaches that you want to see the Cowboys interview and hire for their head coaching vacancy next year?
So what I'm doing is I'm going DAG friendly with my hire. I want to hire a coach with a just terrific system, like a Ben Johnson. So I want to
Mm-hmm.
interview Ben Johnson, Bob Slowick. I probably would interview the guy from Tampa. Uh, it's another guy. I think it was a Shanahan. He's actually a Shanahan. So those are the guys that I would interview. I probably would also try to talk to somebody on Miami staff. So all the high-powered offenses, that's what I do. Cause I'm gonna try to help Dak with my hire and turn this offense around. Despite what Micah says, I think we can still build our defense and have a good coordinator. So that's what I would do. Now the other argument is you obviously talking about Belichick and Mike Vrabel. So this morning on the fan,
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Bell, shout out to Bobby. He said the top two contenders are Belichick and Vrabel. So that wouldn't be, my choice. I just think with Belichick, Father Time, you hire him, and I'm telling you, by week 4, he's just standing over there. Stuff is going wrong, and people are saying like, "What is he doing?" And the answer will be, "He's just not the same. He's old." And then Vrabel, my thing with Vrabel, I don't. He had 3 or 4 years at Tennessee. It's like, what did he do? I never watched the Titans. I never thought about the Titans like being this just awesome team. We played them, I believe, a couple of years ago. We played them on like a Sunday night or a Monday night.
Yeah. So let me
So
let me talk about Mike Vrabel.
why is everybody excited about Mike Vrabel? I don't get that.
Well, reasons to be excited about Mike Vrabel. Number one, okay, so we understand that well, if you don't know, people that don't know, Mike Vrabel started off as a linebackers coach, at Ohio State, and he was
He was a linebacker in the NFL, a very good linebacker.
so he's a very good
He played for the Patriots.
So he's a very good linebacker, played for the Patriots. As a coach, he started off at Ohio State as a linebacker. He was also a defensive line coach. He coached for the Texans as a linebackers coach and a defensive coordinator. And he also was the Tennessee Titans head coach. So what I like about and right now he's a personnel consultant for the Browns. So what I like about Mike Vrabel, and the reason to get me excited, is I'll take you back to this game that we played, that they played against. It was the first year that he coached the Titans, and they played against the Patriots. And you remember it was a big deal in the headlines because Mike Vrabel was outsmarting Bill Belichick at the end of that game. He kept doing something, the way that he was managing the clock or something like that. And he kept calling a play. That remember that?
Yeah.
So that was like a eye opener for me to saying, oh man, this guy's smart. He's actually using the rules to his advantage against his teacher, Bill Belichick. And so a lot of those games, remember that season for the Titans, they kept on making the headlines because a lot of those games he was doing something at the end of every game, calling timeouts or something that he was doing. It was just like people didn't have no answer for it. Whatever he was doing, it was winning them games, and it was something so simple. So things like that entice me about Mike Vrabel. He's a hard nose. He's a linebacker. You got 2 of the best linebackers in the NFL with Overshawn and Micah Parsons. He's gonna know how to use them. Okay, yeah. His defense is gonna be nice. His defense is gonna be good. His defensive line is gonna be good. He coming in. I would like him to come in with a new attitude for the defense. He gonna have a defense that's looking good, like Micah said. Also, that leaves the door open for a new offensive coordinator. So I would like to see who he brings on as the offensive coordinator. And that would be, to me, I know I would want to be a fly on the wall when he interviews, because when you interview, you need to come in and tell the ownership who your staff is going to be, from the special teams coordinator to the defense to the offense to the ball boys. You should have all of that mapped out if you want this job. If you don't have that mapped out, then you're not gonna get the job. So I would love to be a fly on the wall to see who he would pick as his offensive coordinator, because to me that would be the determining factor on if I want to hire him over someone like Ben Johnson or Belichick or whoever. Because if him and Belichick come in and then Belichick says that he wants to hire someone that's a better coordinator, then I would go with Belichick. So really, to me, it's just who's the best coordinator, who has the best coordinator on their staff, or who is the best coordinator.
So I prefer to go offense, but if you're telling me my options are
Okay.
Belichick, Kellen Moore, Vrabel, and Ron Rivera, and the coach of the Bears, they gonna interview him because that's just so Jerry.
Matt Eberflus.
Matt Eberflus, that Matt Eberflus, that's a Wade Phillips, Jason Garrett starter kid, and Jerry
You might not
loved
like
that.
it. You might not like it. I want them to hire. I want them to interview Cliff Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury is a coordinator for the Commanders. He's not leaving that job to be another coordinator. You
No, I'm
want him
talking
as a
about.
head coach?
Yeah,
No, I don't. Mm-mm.
that's why I said you might not
To
like
me,
it, but
he the same as Vrabel. He was a coach of the Cardinals. They didn't do nothing. See, my thing is, I'm not a
but
big.
but he's a coach. He was a coach of them and of the Cardinals, and they didn't do nothing. But he went back and went and got his game tight. Went to college and got his
Yeah.
game back tight, because he got Washington buzzing right now.
Well, I would say I would be okay with Kingsbury as my coordinator. That's just my thing. But so Belichick, Vrabel, if you got a choice between I don't think Ben Johnson is a realistic option.
Yeah.
Some of the other coordinators, we're gonna see, Bob Slowick Monday night. I think it's gonna be. I think they had it right this morning. It's gonna be Belichick and Vrabel, and then Belichick. I mean, just the resume. If he's not old, he's been in every game situation you can think of. He's got 8 rings. Just think about that. So he could probably just wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and just have a game plan. He's gonna know every facet of it. The thing about him, he coaches defense, he coaches offense, he coaches. There is no part of the team that he's not gonna touch. That's if we get the original, get the Bill Belichick that we're thinking about.
Now
So,
he is the greatest coach of all time. That's no question.
oh, it's just no question. He, when they won those rings with the Giants, he was really like winning them games. Parcells was the head coach, but when they won that second Super Bowl, this is way before your time. They weren't supposed to beat them. They played Buffalo. Buffalo was supposed to win that game, but they didn't because he did it to the Rams. Remember that the turf, what do they call it? The greatest show on turf.
Mm-hmm.
He terrific game plan. Now they say he had to film before the game and all of that. He's watching them practice. Is that what they said?
Mm-hmm.
They was watching them. So, but hey,
Spygate.
Spygate. So, but hey, that's what you do. But now if we get that coach, put it like this, we hired Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells was past his prime. Clearly, he was older, but he did a really good job of changing our culture. Just kind of knowing what kind of players to get. With the scouting department, with the coach, you don't want the coach picking the players. What you want the coach to tell the scouting department is these are types of players that I like. That's what Jimmy Johnson did when he built with the 90s teams. He knew what kinds of players he liked. Now, what really helped them out is a lot of their players came from the University of Miami, just straight off the roster. But some of the other guys that they picked, he just knew what kinds of players that he liked. He didn't want nobody slow. He didn't want nobody lazy. He wanted straight up ballers, straight up just you walk in the door, you're balling, You know, that's
kind
so those are
of
the
like
kind of players that he liked.
Dan Quinn. You got to be 6'2" to play on Dan Quinn's defense.
Yeah, well, if you playing cornerback and you tall, you'll get burnt in this league like Nashawn Wright. So no,
See,
but
like Israel McQuamu, Nashawn Wright, them was all Dan Quinn picks.
Jimmy wasn't looking at none of that. Jimmy was looking at,
Can you play?
and can you make plays? He wasn't even looking at, are you a great route runner? Because Alvin Harper wouldn't win any you know, Alvin Harper probably ran like a 4.7, but he just knew how to play and make plays. He was a playmaker.
I want to see someone come in and take Micah to the next level, take Overshawn to the next level, take Dak and CD to the next level.
That would have been somebody like Bobby Wagner that would have helped them. That would have been smart, but we didn't get to see that because our front office, they didn't want to. They looking at other stuff. They ain't trying to build a team like that. Let's go ahead and wrap so we can do our rescue.
All right, and then back to what Aisha was saying. Aisha was saying earlier that the Cowboys, they draft players, but they don't have anyone to help them develop. Like, for instance, why would you draft Kalen Carson and you don't have Stephon Gilmore to help him? You can't have Trayvon Diggs helping him because Trayvon Diggs was hurt, and then on top of that, Trayvon Diggs is still young himself. Why would you draft Mozzie and you don't have a solidified starter there to help him?
So here's my answer, and I'm gonna give you the same answer that Chill gave. Chill said, just draft ballers. Just draft guys that can ball. You ain't got to worry about none of that. So you just draft good players. Jimmy wasn't looking at who was going to uplift to. Jimmy was looking at, this is your position. We pick you. You better go out here and ball. Don't be looking at somebody over here.
You supposed to be the answer when we draft you with the first round pick.
And the reason that Kalen Carson and Mozzie need help is they're not ballers.
They're not. They can't play.
Now, Kalen Carson, you can tell that he has some skill. He probably just needs to play. So I'm not giving up on him. I've seen him. Yeah, we've seen him make that, some good plays and play good. He just needs to play.
Well, they put him out there on his own, pretty early. He wasn't supposed to be coming in the league starting that corner.
Yeah, and then right now at this point, they need to just let him play. Don't be trying to pull him out and like they're doing Guyton. No, just put Guyton out there and just let him play. Don't be trying to. No, so we need ballers. We don't need somebody coming in showing, if you can play, you can play. So let's go ahead and wrap. So promote our Facebook and our.
All right, y'all. So we're going to wrap it up. And our Facebook is Gen to Gen Cast, GEN to GENCAST. And make sure you all comment, like, and subscribe. We got some more things coming up cooking that we're still working on. This is a long game. It's not a short game. So we appreciate the support and we need the support so we can continue to build our company and build our brand. So we appreciate everybody for liking, commenting, and subscribing. We've been getting a lot of views and we appreciate it. So if you all can put the likes up, you gotta say something?
No, I was just saying, I was agreeing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we got a lot of views and we like that. And it's helping us. It's helping us with the algorithm. So we appreciate y'all. So we'll see y'all in the next one. We'll come back tomorrow and drop another segment. So we appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Peace.
Peace.